for some reason you have the lights went into like flashing mode and like electrical malfunction mode, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, maybe it's just an emergency system, but no, it was every light in the place is just flickering, like, you know,
like a horror movie.
yeah, it's like, this isn't how that works. Why are they?
It's almost like somebody was like, we have to remind them they're watching a horror movie,
right? And
make
also
the lights flicker.
Welcome in, everybody, to HTGS Reviews, where just in time for everybody's favorite holiday, Valentine's Day, we are going to be covering the movie Hard Eyes. Put them, use your hand. Maybe that's how you make it. That might just be a circle I'm making. Anyways, I'm here with my co-host, Dave Wilkins.
Hello.
And Jesse Wilkins.
I'm so excited.
And this is a movie we are going to talk about. I have like some really weird thoughts about this movie. We're going to get into it, but it is streaming on Netflix. If you haven't watched it yet, we will be spoiling this movie. But before we start to spoil this movie, Dave, can you hit us with a Valentine's Day card-like synopsis for it?
Yes, I can. Hard Eyes, 2025, directed by Josh Rubin. On Valentine's Day in Seattle, a cynical ad executive and a charming freelancer are paired up to rescue a failing romantic campaign. What begins as an awkward professional collaboration quickly turns into an overnight adventure across the city. As sparks fly and walls come down, the two are forced to confront their views on love, relationships, and vulnerability. The result is a fast-paced movie full of sharp humor, heartfelt moments, and unexpected chemistry. I thought this was a pretty good romantic comedy. I thought the acting was fine. I thought the dialogue was well written for the most part. I found myself laughing. We had character development. It was a good romantic comedy. And I mean, I think rom-com's not really my genre. My genre's horror, but rom-com is precisely where this movie belongs. And if we were a podcast that covered romantic comedies, this would be as close to a perfect score for a rom-com I think I could imagine, because I actually did enjoy it. But we're a horror movie podcast, so this isn't going to get a perfect score from me because, did I mention there was a serial killer in a couple scenes in this movie? I think I left that part out. Yeah, there was a serial killer, and honestly, every time that he interrupted this fucking beautiful love story, it kind of annoyed me. I'm like, oh, he's back again? He's like, he was in the beginning and, you know, a couple scenes in the end, but yeah, we can get into it.
I just want to know if they end up together. Can you just please stop interrupting my movie? Jesse, do you have some opening thoughts of this one?
Yeah, it's pretty spot on. Rom-coms are my least favorite type of movie to ever watch. This movie was pretty much that, but it exceeded my expectations. I went in thinking it was going to be a pile of garbage. The movie started out a pile of garbage.
No, I don't agree.
Oh, I don't agree at all with that.
The opening scene.
I thought it was the best part of the entire movie.
Well, no, I was like, okay, this is going to be just another one of these. It's going to be another, I know what you did last summer, 2025. It's just going to be an obvious nonsense with another slasher. They're running around, bad acting, bad characters, unlikable people. It wasn't exactly that. And I'm going to kind of go out on a limb here and say that it was better than what I expected while still being a huge pile of garbage. The acting was actually decent. It wasn't bad. The main two characters did a pretty good job. And for what they had, where it's, you know, it's just another throwaway slasher movie, right? It's a movie that you'll never go back and watch again, that you don't care about. There was enough comedy in this where all of the side characters were actually kind of funny, that actually towards the second half of the movie, I was actually somewhat enjoying it. And I know I'm probably going to differ from you guys on this one, but overall I was like, actually, this is kind of funny enough to where I don't loathe this movie. So, for example, to contrast with this, and if people haven't seen I Know What You Did Last Summer, the reboot in 2025, technically a sequel, I guess, or whatever the reimagining, or I don't know,
Legacy sequel.
legacy sequel, that was the word I was looking for. That one was unwatchable from start to finish. Terrible writing, terrible acting, unlikable characters, no star power whatsoever. Nobody you would ever recognize. A movie you would never go back and watch because the whole thing was a pile of garbage, right? Or a couple
Jennifer
of.
Love Hewitt, Freddie
Okay,
Prinze
I was
Jr.
going to say a couple of them, but I'm talking about the main characters in that movie. We don't have to rehash that. If you haven't watched it, don't bother, or go watch it to see what we're talking about here. But I thought we were just getting another one of those, and I was like, oh, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? I want to punch myself in the face. But the first thing I noticed is once they introduced the main characters, I was like, actually, they're not bad at acting. Like, they're kind of doing an okay job. They were likable, and like I said, all of the side characters, there was some funny moments with them as well. But as a horror movie, there wasn't a single moment where I was like scared or thought it was intense or suspenseful or not predictable, or I didn't, I thought someone died surprisingly. None of it. Everyone that you expected to die died. It just another one of those where it's like, oh, when did they learn martial arts? They're awesome at fighting. I thought some of the kills were okay, actually pretty decent in some cases, and it had enough comedy in it where it kind of actually kept me entertained. And overall, when the movie ended, I was like, I didn't hate that as much as I wanted to hate this. I wanted to hate it a lot. And when it started off, I did, but I turned a little bit. Still gonna get a low score from me. It's still a bad movie, but the music in it was on point. The score was phenomenal. It was shot well, of course. Some of the gore was pretty good. So those are my positives. And
you're supposed to just be giving us your initial thoughts, but
that's pretty much everything I have. Take it away, guys.
Thanks for stopping in, Jesse. We'll talk to you later.
I agree with some of that. I don't agree with all of it. I thought that Ally McCabe, who was the main actress, I thought she was really good in this movie. But one of the points you were bringing up, anytime that anything serious was supposed to happen, I'm going to take a phrase from our English speaking. Well, I guess we all speak English, but from England, where they always say that somebody's taking the piss. It felt like as anything serious was about to happen, there would be a line just taking the piss out of the scene, right? Like, and to me, that was sort of the problem. Like, you can, and I talked about this before, where like there's just every movie feels like they have to do this one-liner thing now. And I understand this was written as like theoretically a black comedy, but for that to work, I still think that if you're doing something like that, you still need to feel like there's stakes within the movie. And I feel like this movie really, really struggles with that. So I guess that's like, and I'm back and forth. So like, I'm going to be like that I didn't like, but there's stuff that I did like. I think we should jump into the opening of this movie, because I was like, the opening of this movie rocks. Like, awesome.
Let me give kind of a satirical overview of what I thought of this movie to start off with, and that wasn't actually a true like how I feel about this movie. I actually liked it more than I didn't. It's not going to get a super low score from me. It annoyed me that there wasn't enough slasher in it, and it wasn't really scary. But I think this movie, what I can give this movie credit for is it was exactly what it intended to be. They weren't trying to be something different. Like, and I think that this is a good segue into the opening scene, because the opening scene, I think, was kind of cheesy, but very, very intentionally so. This movie was very self-aware, and I think it was really well written for the most part. There was like a couple of lines here and there that I didn't like, but Jesse, if I could pitch this movie to you like this, right? Let's say your wife is like, I want to watch a romantic comedy tonight. And you're like, ugh, sure, whatever. If it makes you happy, we'll do that. And this is the romantic comedy that she makes you sit through. And it's a slasher with pretty good kills. I'll say, actually, the kills are pretty good in this.
Yeah.
And it is a romantic comedy heavy, but it's got the slasher undertone with the good kills and the humor. I mean, if this is a romantic comedy, it's my favorite one. If it's a horror movie, it's not my favorite one. But if it's a romantic comedy, it's my favorite one. I did not enjoy this movie. I think it was well done. I think it was self-aware. It just, as far as it's going to fall short as a horror movie, but I think as a movie in general, I thought it was decent.
Kind of. And you got to kind of give them a little bit of a break because it is a Valentine's Day movie. So while we're sitting here saying it's a romantic comedy, it certainly had a lot of those elements, and it was a love story, but it was also a Valentine's movie with a Valentine's basis to it. So
I mean, I push back right there and say there's My Bloody Valentine,
Mhm.
which goes in the completely different direction than this movie. So
It sucked.
the remake sucked. I think the original was fine.
I don't remember the original. We covered the remake, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Well, maybe,
Who knows?
maybe
I
we
don't
did.
even know. But this is like there's so many movies that are, or at least I thought this was going to be one of those movies that we've seen a million times, like the prom night movies and the
Yeah,
like the teen slashers that are just kind of really modern and watered down. And this really wasn't that. It was like rom-com cheesy, but it was fun. Like I laughed. There were a few scenes where I was laughing out loud. It was pretty funny.
I
I also liked, real quick before I forget, I liked when they unmasked the killer after they killed the first one or whatever.
And there's like, what the fuck is this?
yeah.
And then it happened again. They're like, "Who the fuck is that?" Like it was actually like, thank God, because it's always like, oh my gosh, it was, because the movie you're suspecting who it was going to be the whole time, and right away I knew as soon as the police officer was. By the way, was that from Fast and the Furious? Was that
Yeah.
girl?
Yeah.
There's Jordana Brewster and Devin Soya was the other cop there. So yeah, I was like, it's one of them, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, immediately but that was the only one that I predicted, because how could you predict the other two? But I thought that was funny, and it was good because we're so sick of this same slasher storyline with they unmasked. Oh my gosh, it was my best friend the whole time. It's just like it's just done over and over and over again. So I thought it was, and I think they obviously made it a point to make it a little bit different than other ones when they unmasked the killer. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the thing that I kept thinking of while I was watching this movie, and like I said, it's not going to get a bad score from me. It's not my favorite movie that I've ever watched, but I was like, I need to watch this director with like an actual horror script, because I thought scenes were shot great. I only had a problem with like the color grading on one scene in particular, but the kills were good. Like everything around this movie is solid for a horror movie. I had no problem with any of the effects that they used. I thought everything looked good. I thought some of the kills were awesome, like in this movie. So I was like, man, if we could just give this director like an actual slasher and strip most of the comedy out, like get rid of 90% of the comedy. I think they went overboard with the comedy in this movie.
I think he did Creep.
Did he do Creep?
I think so. Or he did the Creep tapes. That's something entirely different.
That's the series based off the Creep, Creep
okay.
movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. Like in terms of that, like I thought he did really well. I think some of the actors were given bad direction on this movie though, also, because I feel like some of them were playing too over the top. Like I think
the best friend, maybe.
The best friend, I think Devin Soya was playing. Like I think, because I like Devin Soya, I think he does a good job in a lot of the movies. But I think that he was told this was a specific type of movie, and he played it to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was too much.
Yeah.
So that was just like my little nitpicks there and there. But like that opening scene, dude.
That was funny. And the kill was great. Well, both kills were great. All the kills were great. Yeah.
All 3 kills were great in that opening scene. I was like, oh, because I turned the movie on. I'm like, I'm so thankful this movie's only an hour and a half. I don't think I'm going to like it. And like, I was watching that and I was just like, you have my attention for whatever comes next. At least you caught my attention with this opening scene. And I don't think the movie got better personally. I think the opening scene is the best part of this movie for me, but it didn't nosedive is what I would say.
I agree. And it should have, like, looking back retrospectively, that was redundant, but looking back, it should have pissed me off that they had a great opening scene and then nothing for an hour.
Yeah.
But it was funny. So it kind of kept me at least entertained, to the point where I didn't notice that the movie stopped being a slasher film. I was like, wait a minute, where's the killer? What the fuck's going on? I thought I was watching a slasher. It annoyed me a little bit when I realized it, but by the time I realized it, the movie was picking back up. So it was
they even did like the rom-com thing that drives me crazy. Where like the dude's in there he's there for one day to work on this project. He has to leave the next day. but the whole day they're not working on anything at all. Like, you would think that this would be an insane cram session of getting this done, but it's just like, oh, I'm going to yoga. I gotta go do this. Let's have dinner at 8. It's like, when are you working?
Yeah.
When are we getting this done? You have to leave on the first flight. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, there were a few plot holes and logical leaps that had to be taken for this ridiculous story to make sense, because I think that while it was well written as far as character dialogue and things like that, I think the story itself was kind of dumb and didn't really work. And I don't know if it was like, it may have been intentionally dumb, but there was some stuff in here that was just like, what the hell is going on? Am I supposed to believe that the Seattle police station, Seattle, is fucking empty? Am I supposed to believe that there's 2 cops or 3 cops in the entire police station, and at least one of them is a murderer? Like, no.
There was issues with that scene as well, where in cities you're going to have many police stations, but I still think there would be more than 3 people in the building. But in this scene where the killer cuts the power, for some reason you have the lights went into like flashing mode and like electrical malfunction mode, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, maybe it's just an emergency system, but no, it was every light in the place is just flickering, like, you know, like
a horror movie.
Yeah, it's like, this isn't how that works. Why are they?
It's almost like somebody was like, we have to remind them they're watching a horror movie.
Right, and also
the lights flicker.
It also that scene lasted way too long, where you just have this strobe effect for 15 minutes. And you're like, oh my God, like, okay, either turn the lights back on or don't, and or go by flashlight or something. It was goofy.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought that the only scene I had a problem with, like the color grading, was when they were in the police station lobby, because they were like using this greenish blue filter over the whole thing, but it was just too much when they were in the lobby. Like, it just looked terrible in that particular scene. Like, it looked fine when they were in the interrogation room, but it just looked awful in the lobby, and I just didn't particularly care for it. I'm like, this is not what this place would look like right now. Like, it just, like, the lighting, like, just looks so bad there, but everything else looked good. Like, I have no other problems with any other scenes lighting or anything like that, but that particular scene, it just kind of drove me a little crazy. Should we talk about some of the kills in this movie?
Yes. So the kills that I really liked were obviously in the first scene there, the opener. We kind of referenced them, but the kills were really good. I thought that the first one, the photographer, it was funny leading up to it, right? He's calling him like, sorry, I missed the shot. And they're doing this whole thing where the couple are proposing, but everything's planned out and there has to be the perfect moment. So they're like doing redos and stuff like that. And it's just really obnoxious and funny. And the camera guy screws up, and then on take 2, he gets the machete through the camera lens, through his eye. Great kill. Pretty unique.
Looked great.
I've seen things similar to it. I don't think I've seen that exact thing, but it looked good. It was fun.
Impractical, but looked great.
Yeah, totally.
Not where I would stab if I was going to stab the person.
No, but it worked great for optics, and followed by the bolts from the crossbow for the husband there. That was pretty cool.
With the eye.
Yep.
The eye.
Oh yeah, when it went like thin, like in his eye, but not like directly in his eye, like you think it would go. It kind of went sideways and then in through his nose and out through his lip.
Yeah, but not only that, one of the eyes started moving one way while the other one just stayed forward.
Yeah, it was good. It was disturbing, which I like. And there was that kill, and then the best kill of the movie, possibly, with the girl in the grape press thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic, because I'm claustrophobic, so that shit resonates with me.
That's another thing. The killer just knows how to operate a whole bunch of like heavy machinery.
To be fair, it was a green button.
Well, no, it was like twist, button, whatever. Probably not how the thing actually operates, but still, it's like he knew how to do that, and he knew how to operate the carousel at the fair and turn it up to high as whatever. It's only a couple buttons, but at the same time, it's like, how'd you know? How'd you know exactly how to use all of this heavy machinery?
He is an IT guy. They did make a point to have him do some IT stuff.
Do IT guys put in time as carnies sometimes?
You don't know his background. You don't know, where he came from. You know his
Maybe
upbringing.
can't rule it out.
So yeah, those 3 kills in particular were great, and then we sort of get that different movie that starts for quite some time.
Yep. And that leads all the way up to their date night, where you get the awkward kiss scene in front of the ex, and then the cab ride home, and she's locked out of her apartment, so he's got to help her get into the apartment, and they go up to her bedroom, and she's sitting there, and she's embarrassed because it's a mess, and then she sees her big vibrator sitting on the bedstand, and she's like, oh my god, I gotta hide this. So she discreetly puts it behind her back and makes her way over to the closet and opens the closet door, and boom, there's the hard-eye killer standing in her closet, and she throws the vibrator at his head.
Yeah.
Not a kill scene, but funny. It was
quite
funny.
good. Ends up not making any sense either.
No.
Because they're like, they go through this whole thing at the end where they're like, you weren't even our targets. The other people were our targets. How are they in the house already?
It made no sense. It could be how she was locked out or something. I don't even know.
I do think they were trying to do some satire here on some of the stuff too.
Yeah, but you gotta. So you can take romantic comedy and horror slasher and put them together, and I think they did that decent with this. But if you get to the point where now you're a parody, so I don't know. That's kind of like you gotta have, that has to be a distinct line where I know if this is a parody or if this is just a romantic comedy slasher, because it's one or the other. If it's both, I'm confused. And that scene, while it made me laugh, I was also like, what am I watching now?
Right.
I felt a little bit like the Thanksgiving movie. Remember that one? I think we went to theaters to see that one. Had the same kind of vibe where it's like every scene is purposely ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think that was satirical.
Yeah, that was Eli Roth doing a very specific thing. But I think that's my problem with this movie, Dave. I think you just nailed it, where it's like, be 2 things, don't be 3, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of, and anytime it was like the satire stuff, and I like satire, but I think this didn't need it.
Funny. I think you can be 3 things, but you got to be the 3 things. Don't be 2 things, then hint at a third, especially if that third is possible satire. That's very confusing. And it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. So I didn't, although it made me laugh, I thought it was problematic. But that led right into the next kill, which was the cab driver, which was minor.
Yeah, which was wild. I thought that so then we get this whole chase scene, and I thought this was the creepiest part of the movie. I thought it was lit well. It looked great. It's where she's running. She ends up at like the fairgrounds with the carousel, and I thought that was creepy as shit. Like just the carousel at night turning on, her hiding there, him swinging on the swing set. I thought that was pretty, like just visually, I thought that everything looked great there. And I'm like, oh, give me more of this, because this is the only time in the movie where I felt like there was any tension, at all in the entire movie, was this particular scene. And then you just get the, he's the killer. We know he's not. Like we know he can't be. They didn't hide in any aspect. They didn't even, if they were trying to actually like make you wonder if he was the killer, they did a poor job of it.
They did. I thought that he may have been the killer early on when they first introduced him. I thought that was possible, but that became more and more clear that he wasn't as the movie went on. And like you said, like at this point, when they had him in the backseat of the cruiser, I'm like, why is he there? And they're like, we found they never even addressed this. They're like, we found the mask and stuff on him, unless it was planted on him while he was unconscious.
Yeah.
Which is now dawning on me that is likely what happened. But still, I thought it was kind of sloppy.
They planted the wedding ring as well on him because he had the same initials.
Right.
No, they found that at the, they didn't plant it on him. They found that at the grape press or the wine press station.
Oh, but it just so happened to work out for the evidence or whatever.
Yeah. But he's like, I'm not even married. The worst evidence they gave of him, the one that actually made me eye roll, they were like, you were in Boston 2 years ago when the Hard Eyes killer, and you were in Philadelphia last year with the heart. And it's just like,
the worst lawyer on earth would shred that in court. would absolutely, that is like as good. Him being in Boston during the time of the killing is as good as him not being in Boston at the time of the killing.
Right. Well, that was kind of the point of the scene, was that he basically pissed off the bad cop or whatever, because they were playing good cop, bad cop.
Mhm.
And he just was able to tear the case apart. And that was the point of the scene anyways. So,
Yeah, but my point is like, it's just so like improbable to even throw that in there, that he was in these 3 cities the 3 years that the Hard Eye Killer was in those cities. Like, it's just like, when he's not, it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, this is kind of dumb. I do like a scene in that police station where she's trying to save him and she's a terrible shot. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, because like, how many of these movies are these people? I mean, felt like an easy target to hit there, but how many people are just like sharpshooters? Like, as soon as they pick up,
this is a situation where she probably should have actually hit one of those shots. Where actually the fact that she missed them all is less believable than if she hit one of them.
Yeah. So I think this kind of brings us to when they're at the drive-in.
Yeah, so they get chased into the drive-in, and they were like, they had like a moral issue at this point. They're like, do we go there knowing that this is like a treasure trove for this serial killer? And they acknowledge it, and then they go, yeah, it's fine, and they run in. But this leads to the dumbest scene in the movie, where they're sitting in the car hiding, and people are being murdered around them, and they just have a heart-to-heart.
Yeah.
What is love? What is love?
What is it?
And it's for like 4 minutes. It's like,
yeah, it was
long. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. But I thought it led to a good kill. The couple that are making love in the back of the van, I thought was a great kill.
Yep.
But still, I thought there was a missed opportunity in that as well, where both kills happen in the back of the van.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they're trying to escape, the killer misses while still swinging at the dead couple. And I thought that could have led to another knife getting stuck in one of the dead couple's bodies or something like that.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Well, that's where he swung it, dude.
Did you help?
Like, he swung it that direction, like make it a part of the story. So
yeah.
I did enjoy the kill of the kid that he just like kind of sort of walks by and just does the quick stab.
Yeah.
And he falls into the car. That was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie more than I thought I was going to be completely honest.
Same.
And then they killed the killer, the first killer, which, as Jesse said, when they were like, who's that? Like, finally somebody has done that in a movie.
Yeah.
You know, that was great. Going to the final scene of the movie, basically, where they are in a church with the two remaining killers. We get the whole plot detail, which, you know, very tropey of the killer to reveal everything.
Mm-hmm. I remember I made a mental note that this was the worst exposition dump I've seen in any movie.
Yeah.
At least recently. This was so dumb.
Yeah.
It was so much. It was the most offensive exposition dump. It was to the point where I was like, fuck you.
Yeah. Not great. And leads to like the dumbest scene of all time, where they're like, just take the gun and shoot him if you don't love him. It's like, why are you giving her a gun?
Yeah. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I thought it was going to have no bullets, and I thought that this could have been a decent scene, is if because she did put the gun to her own head, and if she had actually like clicked the gun and there was no bullets, I thought that would have been like a powerful scene. Like, she was willing to die to save her love, you know. Mm-hmm. But they didn't go that route. They went the obvious. These idiots actually did put a bullet in that gun, and she was able to shoot them with it. So still inaccurate, but it was missed opportunity.
Well, what I liked about that was that he's like, did you have to shoot me? Like, you couldn't just shoot her? She's like, I was trying to shoot her. she's a bad shot.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Funny.
But yeah, and great kill on Jordana Brewster as well at the end.
Yeah.
We had the eye thing happen again, which I was like, we did that in the open. Don't know if we needed to do it a second time, but the kill
I like
as a
that
whole.
I like that she used her metal straw.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did we not? I didn't. I mean, maybe one of you guys saw it coming,
No.
but as much as that showed up, the foreshadowing of that straw, I was like, damn, I should have
seen that one
known.
coming, for sure. But
although character continuity error, she brings the straw into the restaurant that night. She gets her drink. She does not use the metal straw in the drink in the restaurant.
I thought she did. I maybe I'm thinking of an earlier scene where they actually showed her remove the straw and switch.
Earlier scene with the friend, she did.
Right.
Not
at dinner.
Not at dinner though.
Well, she had champagne and she had drinks.
She had a mixed drink.
Was there a straw in there?
The black straw was in there.
Wow, this is actually bullshit. All right, lost a whole point, which is the only point I had for this movie. So
these are the things I fixate on in movies, Jesse. Where I'm like, let me find the continuity error.
Also, something I'm glad that they didn't do again because it was hilarious the first time, which was when she threw up on the killer. But I thought for sure they were going to do that again at the end of the movie, and they didn't. And I was like, all right, cool. They didn't kill the joke.
That's
It was a funny movie. They had funny scenes, funny side characters.
They did.
Yeah, I just think too much. Like, I think they
a little bit
back a
little bit too much, and there were some continuity issues. The exposition dump was really pissed me off. And then they had a mid-roll credit scene that was absolute throwaway, completely nothing. Why is this?
I figured there would be, and you know what? I was so tuned out at that point because the church scene was a hot pile of garbage outside of the kills, but I was like, there's probably going to be an end credits scene or whatever. And I didn't even bother waiting to see if it was going to happen.
It was nothing. I remember that I watched it and I was like, why did you do that? It added nothing. It was dumb. It added nothing.
Yeah, it added nothing, but I think that's more satire where they're just they were trying to make fun of like all these movies like sequel baiting.
Oh.
And they're just being there nothing. Like that's my interpretation of it anyways.
Maybe that's kind of fun, I guess. But again, now you're towing the line of satire. Right, you're now.
But they were the whole movie. Like there's certain, well, not the whole movie, but certain scenes they were doing that. So
that's what I mean. It was like they were like they were teasing us with satire, but wouldn't commit to it, which made it confusing, I think. So that doesn't help that.
But. So the only thing that happened, Jesse, is after, because they do that whole proposal thing in the car, the mid-credit scene, she gets a call on her phone. It's from a blocked number. She answers. The person does the "Roses Are Red" voice, and it just turns out to be her best friend who was taking pictures of the proposal, and that's the end of it. There's nothing else that happens.
Just nothing.
Just nothing.
It was dumb. But let's jump into some scores on this, unless you guys have other stuff you wanted to point out here.
No, I'm ready to score it.
I can score it. So if for a romantic comedy, if this was a romantic comedy and I was rating it as such, it's a 4.9. This was funny. It was well written. The characters, it was well acted for the most part. The character dialogue was funny, and it had great kills, which is not something I would expect for a romantic comedy. So if this was a romantic comedy, it's a 4.9, but it's a horror movie. I'm giving it a 3.
Jesse?
I'm right about the same. I had this one at a 3.1, so it's down to a 2.1 because of the straw. And yeah, again, this exceeded my expectations. And you guys liked the opening. I thought I was just like, oh, here we go again. Whatever, the kill was fine, but unlikable characters, over the top acting in that beginning. I actually didn't like the opening. So I was like, oh, here we go. Buckle up. I'm going to hate the next hour and a half of my life. And then it turned into a rom-com. And I was like, well, at least they're good actors, because we've been cursed with such horrible movies. Not all of them, but a lot of the ones that we reviewed lately have had horrific acting. And I was like, at least they're good actors. So that's cool. And then I just, I was tuned out with the killer. And I was like, I just don't care. I don't care about these. But it was saved by good kills. I enjoyed all the side characters. I am on the opposite side, where I'm glad that it was borderline satire. I get it. They could have leaned fully into it or got away from it a little bit. I thought the more the merrier because I was not entertained by the killer. I didn't enjoy the killer. I didn't. The kills were fine again, but it was like, here's back, and it's going to be a fist fight, and he's going to be in the closet. He's going to miss. Just another predictable slasher like that. So I thought this movie was actually saved by some of the writing and the acting, and then you did sprinkle in some good kills that kind of kept it going. But again, pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed the comedy of it, and yeah, I don't know what I would call this movie, but I wouldn't watch it again. But it was funny enough where I didn't feel like I wasted my time.
Another logic flaw here is if you're the police officer that's the killer and you've been traveling to other cities, why are you doing this year in your own city?
I forgot, dude. I forgot about that, but it was a major point that I had, and it was like, wait, what?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
were we just lazy, or just like this cop salary can't afford?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I had also noticed that.
Yeah, I have this at 3.4 hard eyes out of 5 for myself. I've already said everything that I didn't like, but when you can still give me some decent acting, some really, really strong kills, and some really good scenes mixed in with some other questionable ones, it's better than I expected. My expectations were not high going into it. So I think I'd give this a 3-4, and I could suggest watching this. Like if you and your significant other are into like horror movies and you're looking for something to watch on Valentine's Day, I think this is a perfectly acceptable movie to watch. It's not gonna win Best Picture for anything, but you can sit through this and enjoy the kills or whatever you enjoy some of the humor of it. So
one last point. I thought it was really stupid that the lights, the mask had night vision. It's just a rubber mask, and I understand that the technology with cameras inside of glasses is probably there where this could be possible, but I just thought it was such a dumb scene.
And he's an IT guy, Jesse.
Oh God, it was just corny.
Yeah. Well, let us know in the comments what you thought of Hard Eyes. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time here at HTGS Reviews. Peace.